Hey there, Postal here. Hey, the bots are talking to me. I am so freaking tired. But that's neither here nor there. Today we're in the MiG-15. This plane I don't actually fly all that often. And I don't know why. I guess I tend to go for the, if I'm looking for high speed, high altitude, I tend to go for the Sabre. It's got a lot more maneuverability on that particular plane. But this is a good plane, for sure. You've got your two 23mm cannons, and you've got one 37mm cannon. Slightly shorter range on the 37, but man, does it hit. I mean, well, they all hit, but you know what I mean. Let's see what we can do here. Got a Swift. Swift can certainly outmaneuver us, so this could be a bad thing. Get our big old 37mm cannon on target here. And it clearly does some work, doesn't it? Use this fighter to take out the heavy fighters that are causing so much damage to everything else. Even something as sturdy as a javelin can't really hold up. The key, we don't want to mess with the key. If you've ever used these 37mm, well, I guess we're messing with the key. 37mm cannons do not like going for Japanese planes. He's on pretty low health. It's just the whole accuracy part of it. And taking out chunks and moving on. Got the key still, but he's going the other way, so we'll let him keep going the other way. Chunk. So we can go get this bomber. There's no bomber. Where's the bomber? I thought there was a bomber. Bomber's down. Ha! Chunka. So this plane, you really do need to be paying attention to what's going on around you on the map because you don't maneuver all that well. Speaking of which, you don't want to get yourself caught out. Hitting the air brakes here. Go. Yeah, this is probably a bad idea, actually. Is in the middle of a bad idea. I'm not trying to go for the bomber, he just happens to be the thing that's near me the most. So I'm going for the bomber. There's actually a javelin I need to be more worried about, but I'm just gonna go in that way, so. Let's go get this heavy, since this heavy's staying in the sector and we want to kind of do stuff against things that are in the sector. Not able to protect my bomber quick enough. But we can get back on target here. Excellent. We got this bomber here. I think, where's this heavy?
We are losing the military base.
Yeah, I know.
There are too many enemy aircraft.
I'm trying as well as I can. Hey, let's get this guy out, right? God dang it. I feel like I'm doing my job. I guess we're up 4 sectors to 1, so who am I to be bitching? Let's get a move on over here. We'll just do some defense, I guess. This Javi's gonna be doing plenty of work. Move him over here and support him. Tap to tap. Trying not to crash into the javelin. That could be detrimental. What is this guy? Key, what are you doing way up here, Key? Besides being all squirrely like keys are. There we go. Let's get our move on here. Let's get this enemy javelin, huh? Maybe. Possibly. There we go. Plane does have a pretty darn good amount of speed, right? I'm able to keep up with things like this javelin. Of course, he's turning like a silly little guy. Was able to keep up with that F2H, no big deal. Ju-287s aren't pulling away from me or anything like that. We're just gonna go ahead and play defense here. We are significantly ahead on capture points. Sectors and all that stuff, right?
The enemy is launching
Dang.
rockets at us from the military base. Take action.
Not completely unexpected. Let's try to get some hit points back before I actually
Hang in there.
get my guns on target here.
From the port. I say again, the port will not be available.
Tu-12 typically is a little bit less scary for the rear gunner than the Ju-287. Then again, he could be upset that a Soviet plane is shooting at a Soviet plane, and Stalin will come out of the grave and kick my ass. So I guess we'll go ahead and get these GAs at this point. We're still up 4 sectors to 1. I know they had captured 2 for a second there, but didn't really stick, did it?
There's no way to break through for you now. You're on your own.
So we'll see what we can do against these guys. I'm just gonna be doing some hits and then keep on moving.
We need to retake the initiative.
They've got a bunch of freaking planes inbound, huh? I totally was not paying
Victory is
attention.
in sight. Keep it
I
up.
do not want to get stuck in to a dogfight with like 40 million guys around here. See if I can try to get rid of this guy and move along so that way I don't get a bunch of people behind me. Thank you.
Our military base is launching strikes on the enemy. This will make things easier for you.
Take care of this guy since we're up here now. Since we can get up here now, we might as well take care of him, right? Excellent. Keep on moving. So in this plane, you just keep on moving, right? Dogfights are detrimental. Remember that. It's a little, some wordplay for you there. And what I mean by that is really shouldn't be turning too much. You should be utilizing your awesome 37mm cannon. You should be... What am I doing here? Oh, okay. We should be, getting that on target, taking out targets of opportunity. Taking out targets like this that nobody else can really get a hold of. I mean, shoot. The fact of the matter is, I'm going faster than a javelin, which is pretty significant, right? Got both heavy fighters over here. See if I can get on him before he turns. Good on me. Guns overheat incredibly quickly. Dang it, could not get that extra kill there. Pretty good game. And holy cow, it's my first game of the day at 7:30 in the morning. I haven't even had my coffee yet. So maybe you need to play this plane sleepily. Alright, so we were able to do about 14,000 damage to air targets there. We even captured a sector. Only destroyed 13 air targets, but we were going after the big boys, right? We were going after those bombers. We were going after those heavy fighters, and really only got the key every once in a while when it happened to be in front of us. But otherwise, you do want to use this plane against those heavy hitters. The gun, I mean, this 37mm gun, it really does take chunks out of enemy planes. The overall cumulative damage, you might be looking at it and say, oh, well, you know what? It's not really all that outstanding, right? Well, you compare it to something like the F-86A, yeah, it's pretty darn good, right? Against the Yak, it's pretty darn good, right? 1101, the 1101 is going to have a bump up on the MiG. The FW252 got some pretty heavy hitting guns, right? Swift has good guns as well as far as cumulative damage is concerned. The Key, much less so. And so the Key is definitely in the upper echelon as far as fighters is concerned. What I like about this particular plane, maybe not over the 1101, or the Swift, but what I like about this plane is that 37mm cannon does allow for you to really take some chunk damage out of heavy targets. Because you've got a mixed gun configuration, you can kind of do a little bit of both things. Your two 23mm cannons are the same 23mm cannons that you've had on like the Yak line and the Lavochkin line. The same 23mm cannons, basically, I mean, per tier, that you've had on this particular line since Tier 8. And so you should be pretty well used to it if you've gone on any of the other Soviet lines. And so the 23mm cannons, they're doing your consistent damage, while that 37mm cannon is, taking out the chunk damage on those bombers and heavy fighters. And so you saw how easily I was able to really take advantage of bombers and heavy fighters specifically. This plane really is quite good at doing that. Its altitude performance is significant. Its airspeed is really, really good. It's this maneuverability that this plane tends to be lacking in. So because of that, you need to be mindful of what you're doing and what's around you, not just because you need to watch out for those enemy heavy fighters, which is what you're up there trying to get anyway, but you also need to be mindful of planes like an F-86A, planes like an 1101. Typically, you won't run into an 1101 or a Swift up that high, but you could, and both of them can outmaneuver you. I believe, actually. Let me check if the 1101 can outmaneuver you. Neither of my planes are, both my planes are not specialized. So the MiG-15 and the 1101 are actually the same maneuverability. And actually, my Swift without the pilot in it has the same maneuverability as well. Let me put my pilot in it. Oh, look at that. It's got a bunch more maneuverability, which just goes to show you, you're going to see a hell of a lot of MEP 1101s specialized out on the battlefield. And so do not assume that they're only slightly more maneuverable than a MiG-15. They're probably a hell of a lot more maneuverable. There's a lot of people that play the 1101 specialized, fully spec'd out, and they can turn like a demon. So you definitely need to be aware of that. And I actually would just play like you're the least maneuverable plane out there. You might be more maneuverable than 252. Yeah, you are. 252. Oh, 252. What is the point of view? So you're never going to see an FW252 out there on the battlefield. So you are, if for all intents and purposes, the least maneuverable fighter plane. You want to maintain your airspeed, because if you get caught out while you're kind of in the middle of a turn or something like that, you're going to be in trouble. Unless it's a heavy fighter that you can actually outturn. I got really lucky in the beginning there to not have to worry about the Swift. Mainly used my altitude performance over the Swift. And other than that, I didn't really have to worry about fighters. But you are going to run into 1101s. You are going to run into Sabres. Sabres are actually going to be a lot more difficult to deal with because they've got the same altitude performance. And they've got a heck of a lot more maneuverability than almost any other plane at this tier. Yeah, their guns suck, but they don't need to be good to kill a light fighter like a MiG-15. So be definitely aware of Sabres when you're in a MiG-15. But otherwise, play this kind of like a heavy fighter. Keep your lines smooth, keep your power going, and attack those heavy fighters, attack those bombers. I was really surprised how quickly I took out the Ju-287s. Really surprised how fast I was taking out those Tu-12s. Now, granted, it's going to be a little different versus EF-131s. It's going to be a little different versus Su-10s. You definitely don't want to just come up behind them, straight behind. You want to do your attack runs from the side or the top if possible, or bottom. But that being said, the 37mm cannon is definitely going to do well versus those heavy targets. So, hope you enjoyed this particular battle. I had a lot of fun, actually. I don't play this plane very often. I think I need to play it more often. I will definitely be, I'll add some more speed to this particular plane when it comes to specialization. I think I might. I'm wondering, because I do want to get some maneuverability on it. I might adjust the polished skin out for something like lightweight wing frame once I specialize it and kind of find a better balance. I didn't realize this is all stock equipment. This is going to give you a pretty basic taste of this plane. My pilot, granted, my pilot is, what, a 6-point pilot, 7-point pilot? Oh, he's an 8-point pilot, isn't he? I can't count this early in the morning. But none of it is based on, it's not like Engine Guru stuff. It's not going to be your aerobatics expert. I've got the aerodynamics expert, and then I wanted to work on my accuracy on the gun, which is important. I don't know if you necessarily need Marksman 2 right off the bat, but you definitely want Marksman 1. So my pilot isn't built to be, a speed demon pilot. I haven't added Engine Guru. I haven't done aerodynamics expert. So there's still a lot of room for growth on this particular plane in my own garage, or hangar, I guess. And so there probably will be for you on yours. Anyway, that's enough rambling for today. Hope you enjoyed this video. What's the plane that you haven't taken out in a while that you recently took out and you realized, oh, you know what, it's actually pretty good? For me, it's a MiG-15, but, we all have that type of plane, don't we? Anyway, I hope you have a great day, and I will see you out there on the battlefield. Bye.